My name is Drew Collins. I'm 18 years old, and 3 weeks before I was supposed to leave for college, I discovered that the $187,000 my grandmother had saved for me over nearly 2 decades was gone, taken by my own parents, and spent on a house for my older brother, Tyler, the one they always believed mattered more. I didn't find out through some dramatic confession or accidental slip. I found out during a routine phone call to the bank while confirming my tuition payment, the kind of call I had imagined going smoothly for months. Instead, after verifying my details, the woman on the line went quiet in that careful way people do when they're about to tell you something that will change everything. And then she told me my account balance was $214.36. At first, I laughed because it had to be a mistake, but it wasn't. Over the past 8 months, withdrawal after withdrawal, amounts ranging from $9,000 to $15,000 had drained the account completely, all authorized by the custodian, my father. I remember setting the phone down gently, like sudden movement might shatter what little stability I had left, and walking into the living room where my mother sat watching television as if nothing in the world had shifted. When I asked her where my college fund was, she muted the TV, looked me straight in the eyes, and told me they had used it for Tyler's house because he needed it more. She said it calmly, like it was obvious, like I should have understood all along that my future was negotiable and his comfort was not. When I reminded her that the money was mine, saved by Grandma Ruth for me, she smiled in that patient, dismissive way and told me that as my mother, she decided what was best for the family. And then she said the sentence that split something inside me clean in half. He's the one who actually matters. I didn't scream, I didn't argue, because deep down I had always known this was how she saw us. Tyler had always been the center, the golden child with endless chances, while I was the quiet one who succeeded without recognition. That night, sitting on my bed, I ran through every option, loans, appeals, begging, but each one collapsed under the same truth. I couldn't fix this alone. So I called the one person who had never treated me like an afterthought, my grandmother. I told her everything, every detail, expecting comfort, maybe anger, but what I got instead was something sharper and stronger: resolve. She told me to bring every document she had ever sent me, every envelope, to her house the next morning. When I arrived, she had 3 folders waiting, 18 years of records, meticulously organized, proving the money had always been mine. She had anticipated something like this, not because she wanted to, but because she understood her own daughter better than I ever had. That same day, she called an attorney, Margaret Bowen, who reviewed everything and confirmed what I already felt in my bones. What my parents had done wasn't just wrong, it was illegal, a violation of fiduciary duty, and, given the amount, felony theft. When asked what I wanted to do, I said both. I wanted my money back, and I wanted accountability. From there, everything moved quickly: legal filings, a criminal complaint, and, most unexpectedly, a call to a local reporter who aired the story, turning what my mother had tried to frame as a family misunderstanding into a public truth that couldn't be rewritten. The town reacted, slowly at first, and then all at once, as people realized what had actually happened. Support poured in, from teachers, neighbors, even strangers, while my mother's carefully constructed image began to unravel. Tyler, who had believed the money came from a loan, was devastated when he learned the truth, and in a decision I never asked for, he chose to sell the house and return the money, saying he couldn't live in something built on a lie. My father eventually accepted responsibility and cooperated with the investigation, while my mother refused to admit fault, clinging to the idea that she had done nothing wrong. In the end, both faced legal consequences: probation, restitution, and a permanent record for her. But no punishment felt as heavy as the absence of a simple apology that never came. Meanwhile, my life, which had seemed to collapse in a single afternoon, began to rebuild in ways I never expected. a scholarship from the university, a community fundraiser that covered my expenses, and most importantly, a new trust set up by my grandmother with what remained of her savings to ensure no one could ever take my future again. When I finally moved into my dorm, sitting on a narrow bed in a small room with a window overlooking the campus, it didn't feel like victory, it felt like survival, like something I had fought to reclaim piece by piece. I don't hate my parents. What I feel is more complicated than that. Anger, grief, and a quiet understanding that love without accountability isn't love at all. I still talk to Tyler sometimes, carefully, rebuilding something honest between us. But with my parents, there is silence. And for once, that silence belongs to me, not them. I tell this story not for sympathy or revenge, because I spent years believing being quiet, being easy, being good would eventually make me matter, and it didn't. What changed everything wasn't becoming louder, it was deciding I wouldn't be invisible anymore. Standing up cost me the version of my family I thought I had, but it gave me something far more real, my future, my self-respect, and the certainty that I am worth protecting, even if the people I had to protect myself from shared my last name.